All right, today we're jumping into a sermon that hinges on one of the most incredible stories you can imagine. We're talking about a city about to be completely wiped out, and the four people you'd least expect holding its entire future in their hands. So, right off the bat, this whole story makes you wonder, right? Could four total outcasts actually save a dying city? I mean, when everything is fallen apart, when the leaders have no answers, could the people on the absolute fringe of society be the only ones who can save the day? It's a wild thought. Let's get into it. Okay, so picture this. We're in the ancient city of Samaria, but it's not a normal day. It is completely surrounded, besieged by the Aramean army. Think of it like a bottle, with the cork pushed in. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out, which means no food. The city is starving, and it's spiraling into an absolute nightmare. And if you want to know just how bad it was, look at these numbers. This is where it gets crazy. People were paying a laborer's entire yearly wage for a donkey's head. I mean, something they weren't even supposed to eat. And then there's this stuff, maybe a kind of wild onion, called dove's dung, going for a whole month's salary. This isn't just a tough time, folks. This is society literally eating itself to survive. And just when you think it can't get any worse, it does. This quote, it's from a woman crying out to the king, and it's just horrifying. She says two mothers made a pact to eat their own children. They cooked and ate her son, and when it was the other woman's turn, she hid her child. I mean, can you even imagine? This is beyond hunger. This is the end of everything we'd call human. So you might be thinking, where's the king in all this? Well, that's the thing. He's completely helpless. When that poor woman begs him for help, he basically says, "What can I do? There's nothing left." And we find out that secretly, underneath his fancy royal robes, he's wearing sackcloth. That's the ancient equivalent of raising a white flag. Even the king had given up. He knew they were done for. Okay, so inside the walls, it's total despair. But now the story pivots. We go outside the city gates, and this is where we meet our unlikely heroes. Four men with leprosy. Now back then, having leprosy meant you were a complete outcast, unclean. You couldn't even go inside the city. So think about their situation. They are literally trapped between a rock and a hard place. The starving city won't let them in, and the enemy army is right in front of them. And right there, in that impossible spot, they have a moment of pure, brutal honesty. They look at each other and ask the question, why sit here until we die? It's so simple, right? They know that just doing nothing, that's a death sentence. And that one question, that single moment of clarity, is what kicks off their final, desperate plan. And their logic is just flawless. Check it out. Option 1, stay put. Result? They starve. For sure. Option 2, try to get back in the city. Result? They starve with everyone else. So, two options, both leading to certain death. But then there's option 3. Walk over to the enemy camp. Yeah, they might get killed instantly, but maybe, just maybe, they'll be spared. It's the only option that isn't a 100% guarantee of death. It's their only shot. So that's it. Decision made. With absolutely nothing to lose, the four of them get up as the sun starts to set, and they just start walking straight towards the enemy army, not knowing if they're walking towards a quick death or a slim chance at life. They're literally walking into the unknown. And then they're there. They reach the edge of the camp, the very camp that has been choking the life out of their city. You can just imagine them taking a deep breath, ready for whatever comes next. And what they find is nothing. No one. The entire camp is empty. Tents are up, horses are still tied to their posts, the fires are even still warm, but every single soldier is gone. They've just vanished into thin air. So what on earth happened? Well, the source explains it as a straight-up miracle. Apparently, God made the Aramean army hear something that wasn't there. The sound of a huge phantom army, a massive force of chariots and horses coming right for them. They completely panicked. They thought, oh no, Israel hired backup from Egypt, and they just dropped everything and ran for their lives. And just like that, the city was saved. And the people inside had absolutely no idea. So try to put yourself in their shoes for a second. Just minutes ago, you were dying of hunger. And now? Now you're standing in the middle of an abandoned camp that's basically an all-you-can-eat buffet combined with a treasure chest. Food everywhere, wine, gold, silver, clothes. It's unimaginable. And what's their first move? Exactly what you or I would probably do. They eat, they drink, they gorge themselves. And then, once their bellies are full, they start thinking about the future. They go from tent to tent, grabbing gold, silver, anything valuable, and hiding it away. After a lifetime of being outcasts with nothing, they're finally securing something for themselves. But then, something shifts. Right in the middle of collecting all this loot, they just stop. It's like a light bulb goes on. And they say to each other, wait a minute, this isn't right. This is the key moment. They realize this is a day of good news, and we're keeping it all to ourselves. They remember that just a few hundred yards away, an entire city is dying of hunger, while they're sitting on a feast. And that moment, that crisis of conscience for the lepers, is the whole point of the sermon we're looking at today. This is where the sermon takes this amazing, ancient story and turns it into a powerful metaphor for something deeper. So, according to the source, this isn't just a cool story from the past. It's presented as a picture, an allegory, of a bigger spiritual truth. So let's unpack what that metaphor actually looks like. All right, so here's the breakdown from the sermon. Step 1, the outcasts, the lepers, starving, separated. They're supposed to represent all of us, humanity, in a state of spiritual starvation. Step 2, the feast, that abandoned camp overflowing with food. That's the good news of salvation. It's a miraculous gift you didn't have to earn. Step 3, the silence. That's the part where the lepers start hiding the treasure. It's the very human temptation to find this amazing gift and just keep it for yourself. And finally, step 4, the proclamation. That's their choice to go back and tell everyone. The sermon frames this as a moral duty. You have to share the news that can save everyone else. And this all boils down to one final, really provocative question the sermon leaves you with. And it's basically the same question the lepers had to ask themselves. If you were starving and you suddenly discovered the cure, an endless supply of food, while everyone else around you was still dying, would you keep it a secret?